Hello, and welcome back to another Cooking with Hands video. Today we are making lactose-free chocolate, and I'm using that to make chocolate chip cookies. Step 1, gather your coconut oil, and you're going to get 3 tablespoons of that. Once you get that, you're going to put it into your pot, and you're going to put that on a low to medium heat. Next, you're going to get your maple syrup. All right. Now you're going to add 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. All right, and last, you're going to get your special dark chocolate cocoa powder. I'm going to open it up. You're going to get your cocoa powder. You're going to get 1/4 cups of it. And add it to your mixture. And remember, we want to have this on a medium to low heatness. Next, you can get your whisker. And you're just going to whisk it up. You should slowly start to hear some bubbles. If you do, that is very good. Now, you're going to add in 1/2 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. No, I'm going to add in a little bit more because I like my things to be extra vanilla-y. Oh, we can keep mixing it. You can take off the heat for a little bit while you mix it. All right. And once it has been mixed, you have a couple of options. You can either pour it into rubber molds to make little chocolate bites, but for us, we're going to try and make some chocolate chip morsels. So, you're going to get yourself a plastic bag. You want to let it melt for a little bit, get a little cool off, you could say. And then you're going to pour it into the bag. Just like this. And you can get yourself a spoon to get the last little bits. And now we're gonna let it cool for about a minute. All right, now that the minute has passed, we're gonna grab our bag. You're gonna cut it right here at one of the tips. Now it's been cut, you're gonna squeeze any of the chocolate mixture, any and all of it, out onto the parchment paper. Now, I've already done this step. However, it's as simple as this. Boop. 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 Now, while it might take a long time, it is worth it. So be very careful and make sure you have them at a good size. Now, we're gonna grab our pan. We're gonna put it in the fridge. You can put it in there either overnight or until the chocolate morsels have hardened. When we come back, we will see how many hours it should take. I'll see you again soon. All right, and now after 3 to 4 hours, our chocolate chips have perfectly hardened. Now, And since we use parchment paper, you can either use a spatula or even just your hand, and they should be easily scrape offable, just like so. Now we're gonna try one. These are delicious. You would hardly know that these are lactose-free milk chocolate chips. All right, welcome back to part 2. We'll be using our chocolate chips to turn them into chocolate chip cookies. So step 1, you need to gather 1/2 cup of vegan-friendly butter or marginal, which one you prefer. You want to melt it. Put it in the microwave for about 30 seconds, and then afterwards 10 to 15 second increments. While that is happening, we're going to preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And now, all right, now that the butter has turned into this nice liquidy consistency, you're going to add it into your mixing pot. You can use a plain bowl, but I prefer to use my KitchenAid. And make sure you have a whisking tool. So you're going to add the butter. Next up, you're going to get your salt. You're going to get your sugar and brown sugar. Now, what you want to do is you want to add 1/2 cups of your plain granulated sugar. Just add that right in. Now make sure you have not started mixing yet. And then you're gonna get a 1/4 cup of brown sugar and add that on in. Now, you wanna start mixing and mix those two together. You're gonna start at a nice slow stir setting before speeding it up. All right. While we have that going, our next step is going to be to add 1 tablespoon. While that's mixing, our goal is to be to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Just make sure you hold it over the bowl so in case you spill, it goes straight in. All right. Now we're gonna add in our singular egg, just like so. And when I keep mixing, I'm gonna turn that on a high setting, let that mix up for a little bit. All right, now that it's mixed up, we're gonna get 1 3/4 cups of flour. All right, so get our first cup. Make sure it's nice and as level as possible. We're gonna add that in. Next, get our 3/4 cup of flour and add that in. And now you want to get a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. And one thing I really like about the baking powder is they give you this little tool to make sure it's always as flat as can be. It's very helpful. And then also get 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. Add that in. And lastly, we're going to get another 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And add that in. Now we're going to put it back in, and we're going to start it on a nice slow stir setting before eventually turning it up. And when it is fully mixed together, is when we go on to our next step. All right, now that it is fully combined, we're going to take about 1/2 cup of chocolate chips and just go ahead and dump that all in. Now, I'm going to put it on a very gentle stir setting. We don't want to crush any chocolate chips. We just want to mix them up. Once that is done, I recommend getting a spatula of some kind and just taking off the whisker. And just kind of spatulaing it all out into the bowl. And once that's done, I recommend taking your bowl of any kind, and with your spatula, Just kind of toss it all around. That way the chips are perfectly distributed. And as we can see, most of the chips still have the nice strong hold, which will turn out fantastic for after we bake them. And once you give them a gentle tossing, you want to take your pan, line it with parchment paper, and then you're going to scoop the cookies out. For today, we'll be using this nice little scooper. It's as simple as this. You grab it, you go against the wall, you place it down, and you scoop it out. Just like that. And now we're just going to be repeatedly doing this until we run out of mix or until the cookie sheet has filled its way up. Okay, now that we have placed the cookies on the baking sheet, we're going to put it into the oven, which is baking at a temperature of 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And we're going to set the timer for 7 to 10 minutes. Now remember, you do not want to overbake these because you want these to be nice, soft and fluffy cookies. We'll be back when they are done. All right, now that the timer is beat, I'm going to get our hot pad. And look at that. Our delicious lactose-free cookies are done. Now you will never ever have to worry next time you eat a cookie if they use milk chocolate chips or butter, because this is a perfect solution to all your problems. Thanks for watching. And now for the taste test.